Hello and good morning, StarCraft fans. I have very much intentionally chosen to wear my DreamHack shirt for this DreamHack Qualifier cast. Let's see here. So I have sounds off. Let's turn them on. And we'll get into things here shortly. So today will be the final set of matches for this DreamHack Qualifier. So it's not going to be any more after this.
I mean,
well, for Europe.
Oh, okay.
And I guess it's great because we've had a lot of games leading up to this point, and for us, getting to cast some of the matches like Thermal and TLO yesterday and such, like there's quite a few players getting through to this part of the qualifier that I really want to see go through. And the nice thing is, statistically, they all have a really good chance. As top 8 players total will qualify through. 4 from the winners, 4 from the winners, 4 from the losers.
Yep. So it's a lot more than I thought. I guess I can never remember which WCS qualifier is which, but I guess this might be the one that we kept getting kicked out super early from because they wanted to cancel those super early qualifying matches.
They also did the format differently before, but do we know what match we're casting first yet?
Yeah, MaNa versus Beastyqt.
Yeah.
Actually, I said in the chat, Wardy. Where are you? Where's your brain at, Wardy?
Yeah, he whispered me. I was like, I don't know, that's not real. I'm doing other.
Oh, because in the other chat, not the real one.
Oh right, I forgot about this problem when they made a whole other chat for no reason when everybody was in the other chat. Everyone was in DreamHack Montreal. And they're like, nope, guys, you got a DHMTL 16. Oh, the bot is incorrect. Thank you, XR first time player, for letting me know. Edit command brackets. Edit command bracket. Because this is not a rebroadcast. This is live, and I don't actually plan to rebroadcast this. So there's also another dynamic that's come up with the WCS qualifiers today. For those who missed the announcement/info, this is really cool. Like anniversary thing Blizzard's doing. Yay!
Yay!
But it also totally screws with pro gamers, and not in like a devastating way. It's not like the Warhound, for example, where you couldn't tell which worker unit you're looking at. But but for those who don't know, when you mine minerals, the minerals actually are cakes. It looks dumb, but if you go into the game, I actually think it's awesome. The problem is, for competitive play, I totally understand why players wouldn't want to have that on. So luckily, Nice Username is skilled and talented enough to have made a mod that has a version of the game where it will play out with no other adjustments or tweaks except for the fact that the cakes will be skinned back to normal minerals instead of cakes. The problem is, part of the reason we can't use our BaseTradeTV graphs mod and have those really awesome graphs ready and available for WCS cast is because it's not allowed. So the question a lot of players are going to be asking today, MaNa specifically, can we host games on this no cakes mod? Because that could make a world of difference for some.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna guess the answer is no.
Yeah, it's so if the DreamHack admins are cool with it, like then we can get a go on with it, right? But I don't.
I mean, first of all,
to get a response in a timely manner from a DreamHack
admin. That hasn't been the way of things, all right? And then second, they were forced to play on the hats too. I mean, Nice Username wasn't like here immediately with a mod for that one.
I forgot about the party hats.
But it pretty much is just like they have to get confirmation from Blizzard because like Blizzard has to test the mod in order to like be like, yeah, that's workable. That's why we use the WCS one.
I totally forgot about the party because the party hats lasted like 3 weeks longer than they should have type thing. Like, oh man.
Yeah, they went out. They like forgot about StarCraft 2 for that. So it went on for a very long time. But yeah, so I very much so doubt it, and I imagine if they do say yes, that Blizzard might be a little upset. I mean, I don't think they're gonna be like, no, redo the qualifiers. But I know people don't want to get in trouble with Blizzard either.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out what goes on. In the meantime, I want to give some thanks to 3 subscribers that I guess came during the Fear Dragon broadcast yesterday. So I'm sure some of them got shouted out. But Xenocider and Brian Shen, thank you for subscribing them 3 hours ago. Dio Nasty sub to the channel. So
Neonacity.
Dio Nasty, awesome, and thank you.
Yeah, I guess, looking for those replays, getting back into StarCraft. Confirmed. I don't know. You should have been my chat of all places because I'm an amazing Terran and he wanted to know what was up. So he
Sinusider?
knows where to learn. Yeah. He knows where to learn. And Zombie Grub and BaseTradeTV replays. Aw, yeah.
Okay.
Don't.
On the interim, guys, we move past that point of excellence, and really, again, like the self-worth, I just applaud.
Thank you.
MaNa and Beasty's on the docket, but again, it appears we're going to be waiting a little bit to see if it's okay to use this mod or not. Truthfully, for us, I don't mind either way. I just want the best games possible out of both these players. Excuse me. I'm going to be yawning. It's, of course, 5 a.m. here for the start of this cast. I was actually not under the impression it was going to be a 5 a.m. start, and kind of annoying too, considering both of the other ones were 9 o'clock starts. They're like, you know what? Let's just start at 5 a.m. because reasons. Because Europe.
Well, when it was a double elimination bracket that I thought the final two were getting out of, I was like, okay, I guess this makes sense. They don't want the Europeans staying up really, really late, which they weren't like really late when it starts at 12 my time, but I guess it is later. But now that it's only like, I mean, like if you think about it, guys, like the winners bracket, you have to win 2 matches to get qualified. That's not a very long bracket. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think they had to start at 8 a.m. That's that's whatever. Oh.
So, congratulations to Liquid Bunny.
Did he get his portrait?
Yeah, he just got an achievement.
Thought so. Man, I'm at this point of like I'm past the sickness, right? Although it occasionally, for whatever fucking reason, so mad. Like I'm not coughing that much during the day, but for whatever reason, it woke me up like 3 times with like hacking coughs. Like why? Why? Anyway, now I'm just at that part where I'm just like constantly like swallowing phlegm and clearing my throat. Right there. Mute micro is on point. Ooh, if I have to stream today, oh, you would just hear phlegm all the time.
Phlegm.
Phlegm.
It just sounds like a hillbilly name more than like.
You know it does. I was gonna go that direction
a scientific word for something disgusting in the back of your throat.
Scientific words are often funny.
All right, so I still don't know what's going on with this mod with MaNa. If he really truly feels passionate about this cake thing, I'm absolutely willing and understanding to wait. But my concern is, I really predict something really stupid happening where it takes 15 minutes to get a reply before they start a game, and they'll be like, well, we showed up as admins to enforce the walkover rule, but not respond to your question, so, like...
Well, they have to walk over both, so hopefully...
No, but I feel like that's the course of action that these qualifiers seem to take, where, like, you would just have something really dumb like that happen, and it would be, sadly, like, in the normal.
Yeah.
But okay. Because I'll tweet WCS qualifier. DreamHack Montreal. First series today will be Liquid MaNa versus Beastyqt. TVP is gonna be really interesting for this too, because I think this is a really tough matchup, to be honest. And both players are weirdly in this state of like flux of I'm no good. So we'll see what their personal opinions say about the matchup. On a semi-related note, my friend Loserfruit is doing a charity stream today, right? And one of the charity goals is like for $50 you can request a painting during what is going to be quote-unquote Van Gogh hour. So, of course, I donated the $50 and requested a giant butt. However, St. Jude's auto-censored the word "but" in my donation.
Butts is too controversial.
It wasn't even butts. It was just B-U-T-T, like a
But
giant butt. So the problem is when the donation came up on stream, it reads as like and shows a giant asterisk, 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 and I'm like, oh, that looks far worse than what I actually wrote. So I sent her a message. I'm hoping she gets it in time because I would definitely not want that $50 to go to waste. But also, I don't want the sanctity of a charity stream for St. Jude's Children's Hospital to be tainted by the mystery of that asterisk. But, yeah. We unfortunately have no response stuff from the admin. I mean, Stacia's online. I see him here in the channel. He's not, like, on away or anything like that. So, hopefully we get a response soonish. In the meantime, so have you heard of this PokeVision site?
no.
So it's technically cheating. So be aware that what I'm about to talk about is
That's
technically
rude.
in the realm of cheating. So if you use it, you could get in trouble for it. But it's this website that uses the Pokemon Go API to determine where Pokemon are spawned and how long they'll be spawned for. And it's got something like an 80% accuracy rating. So I do this thing, and I'm like, cool. Click around a couple of points in America. It works like a charm. Go to my address, enter it in, and I think, oh, this is broken because it doesn't show anything. No, it just turns out I actually do live in the middle of nowhere because after clicking in a couple other spots that are about like 3 or 4 kilometers or a couple miles out, there's Pokemon showing everywhere.
I was like, wow, there's so many Pokemon in my area, but it like autoed to like San Francisco.
Right? It's like a San Francisco Pier or something like where it autos to.
Nailed it.
Did you just catch a fly in the middle of like midair?
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's damn
It was a
impressive.
gnat. Okay, there's a Pidgey and a Weedle next to me. This is the worst.
At least you have something. I actually
Oh my
don't.
god, I'm zooming so far
But-
out. There's nothing here.
But hang on, so
This
I
is
talk
bullshit.
about. There's a bug also with the app for those who don't know, where like Pokemon will always show that they're 3 steps away, no matter where they are, whether they're right next to you or not.
Ooh.
And I, on my biking adventures yesterday, first off, took over 4 gyms. They're about 3 kilometers apart each, so I biked about 15 kilometers yesterday total. So go me. But secondly, I found a fucking Tauros, dude. I was looking for one for so damn long, and it's always
that's
been on that
cool.
stupid little radar. It's like 3 steps away and like hidden, and I'm like crossing the street, and it just pops up. I'm like, son of a bitch! This is the white whale. I've been looking for you for days.
This is such bullshit. I have like this somewhat big mall next to me, and there's a Bulbasaur near there, which I guess is kind of cool, but that's it.
Drop the cast right now and drive. Go get it.
And then there's like this really, really huge mall, like 40 minutes away, and I'm clicking on it, and there's like nothing there. That's impossible. Like does no one in my area use their phone?
If you're clicking
is
too much, by the way, it won't update. It's got
bullshit.
that thing where it's like it'll only do it like every 30 seconds or so.
You can only see once every 30 seconds. Yeah, it's been 30 seconds. There's a bunch of Nidorans.
Dude,
way
I'm-
outside.
Yo, you gotta help me decide this. I'll do this live on stream. I have enough. Okay. It took forever to get enough Nidorinos to get to the point where I can evolve my Nidorina into a Nidoqueen.
Okay.
But my Nidorina is only like CP 600. I could probably, if I sucked it up and went for like another 3 days, I could probably find enough Nidorinos to evolve a higher CP one. So do I go for the Nidoqueen now and power it up with Stardust and shit? Or do I wait and get a better one so I don't have to power it up?
You should wait.
Son of a bitch, I was hoping you would have said evolve it now. Okay, I'll put my app away. BaseTradeTV, what match are you casting? We're going to be casting MaNa versus Beastyqt. But looks like we are just electing to go for the WCS Game Art mod. Was there...
Yeah, MaNa just said you shouldn't waste time.
Okay.
So,
Shout out to Rurikar, by the way. I see him in chat, but he also says he's multi-twitching a couple of streams. That's awesome. Retweet.
I don't know.
Okay, so there's going to be a lot of different matches going on. It's double elimination. My green screen looks like shit, and this is why I don't like using it in the morning. Because there's not enough light at 5 a.m. And I don't want to turn the studio lights on for this. But anyway, so my point of this was going towards, there's other matches, lots being cast on Team Liquid. I got to ask, though, is this 3? Best of 5. Oh, my. Okay.
I think everything's best of 5 today.
Oh, we're not broadcasting at 1080p. Well, I don't want to restart the stream for just that. So enjoy the 720 today, guys. It's probably for the best anyways. I am like 100... No, like last I checked, I was like 95 gigs shy of my data cap. And that's got to last us for 2 more days of streaming. I really want to take this new package deal. But it's like, man, 135 a month for 200 extra gigs. I don't know if that's going to be worth it or not.
I don't know, man.
Because it would let me stream 1080p all the time, always, which would be like a big upside. But it's not like I can start uploading more content to YouTube. It would mean I could stream on my own personal channel a little bit, but I don't know if I can make up the difference in money from the streaming.
Maybe you had a goal. People love goals.
Oh, yo! Speaking of goals, I want to talk about this tooth thing for the dentistry BS before we get into the game, so I'm not distracted by it. Called into their offices yesterday. Oh, here's the cakes we're talking about, by the way. Called into their offices yesterday, and I get a message saying that they're out of the offices until like the 28th or something. And I'm like, how long have they been out? Like a week or 2 weeks? Like, they didn't think to tell me, hey, by the way, so we know you just invested in this gigantic thing that costs you $7,000, but like, you know, we're gonna be gone for a little bit, so you might not get it, you know, for a while. Like, hello, can I get like a fucking notice? Like, it almost feels like getting ripped off and scammed. They just took that money, went to like have a vacation in Hawaii with it or something. I don't know. Like, so mad about this.
For the whole office.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Anyways. Getting into things for the WCS. Yeah, this is the quality professional broadcasting you've come to expect on BaseTradeTV. Spawning here in the bottom right. Double right? What the f? I'm already done with today's zombie. Spawning in the bottom right of New Gettysburg is going to be the Red Protoss. Team Liquid's MaNa.
See, it's a double layered cake, and that's where you got confused.
Oh my god, it is. You're right.
In the bottom left is the yellow Terran. He is Beastyqt.
Yeah, I'm just thinking on this, like, you know, sometimes you grab your scouting worker and it's got minerals and you're like, and you just go with it anyways.
Yeah.
I wonder, it's just gonna look like a cake delivery.
Oh, you can be like, knock knock, present. There's a wall off. Cake delivery. I kind of want to play ladder just to do that.
Right? You're like that guy who like proxies a Nexus in someone's base and leaves the game. You're just like, here's an SCV.
Yeah, that guy should have given me a present.
Oh my god.
He basically did.
Just take all 12 of the SCVs, get minerals, come across the map, be like, cake delivery, and just leave. Someone's just gonna be like, what the f? Okay, actually, speaking of what the f, we got a gas block out of BC, which I find interesting for a couple of different reasons. One, I don't know how effective it's going to be. But every Protoss in the game plays so comfortably with 2 gases fast. This might be something where MaNa's timings are thrown off by it, because he's just like, who does this?
As you can see already, actually, you can't stop Warp Gate as fast as you would wanted, probably. Still 20 gas short, so... That's
like one of those terrible quotes. Like...
What?
I love butts. Abraham Lincoln. Probably.
Well, yeah, probably.
But you're right, it did for like 3 seconds, I think, for timing wise.
Even more than, dude, more than 3 seconds. I mean, I think if you actually got the gas geyser when you want it, it starts immediately. Like, you have as much gas as you want. This is all based off of like very limited Protoss Legacy the Void play. But I'm pretty sure that's how it happens, especially because the Adept costs less gas. So I was gonna bring that up. Like, maybe it doesn't matter because the Adept is a little bit cheaper in that, but apparently it did. So it did affect him. And this is all about like not like, oh, the crucial 5-second warp gate timing is not gonna save me from an all in. It is just more about annoying your opponent.
Oh no, there's an SCV that's really low as well. MaNa, go snipe it. BC realizes it, starts repairing. Oh, the Adept gets into the main. Is that? Oh, the deepers were down. That's why. Okay.
Yeah, well, he will have 2 Marines soon. Actually, if it's a couple more shots on that Marine.
It might already be a little bit rough. I'm not sure if 2
yeah,
Marines can actually take this on. The reason 3 work is because they do have the
wouldn't-
complementary damage. I actually think MaNa should be able to get away with this. Hell, recall if necessary.
Yeah,
Recall
that's what he was
might
planning
not
on,
even
for
be
sure.
necessary.
So this is killing Oh no, the Adept. So
Oh,
Again,
lordy.
the warp gate being later doesn't really impact this, but like this could be like a pylon of a very, very slow warp in otherwise.
So-
Okay, he finally recalls because Cyclone's on the way.
Thank God it was a Cyclone too. That was about to get really out of hand. That was about to be the equivalence
Yeah.
of like Terran winning versus Terran with like 2 Reapers in a Hellion.
It would have been very embarrassing, basically. I mean,
Well-
I would have been just like, crawl away.
To talk about something positive behind this, BC does have a really fast 3rd CC. And well, he would have
Yeah.
loved for that not to have been scouted. It's pretty easy to make up that couple of SCV losses. He'll be able to drop mules like crazy. And it's weird because it's usually Protoss that are 1st and 3rd base in this matchup, right? So
Yeah, actually, it's definitely flipped. But, I mean, there are fast 3cc bolts, and of course, MaNa scouted that too, so... I like his plan, you know? Not just a 3rd Nexus, not pushing it off too much either. It's going for that Warp Prism. I don't know what this is for. I mean, this might just be for later use. Maybe for a Dark Shrine. But...
I would imagine at least proxy gateway for warp-in potential. The harassing of just warping it up here to the low ground could be really nice.
Because he does have a 3rd Nexus. I don't think he wants to put down a 4th gateway right now. You usually have to wait and then just put down 3.
Well,
We'll
if it's
see.
anything more, I'll be impressed. The Cyclone does get the lock-on, so the Warp Prism has to disappear for the moment. The Marine count's still really low. He's got some at the front as well, but the tank of the Cyclone should be able to handle what's in the main.
Oh, Cyclones. I have such a short cooldown now. Okay, well, not a Dark Shrine, not a gateway. It might just be for, like, slow warp-ins later on. I mean, these have really fallen off in Legacy of the Void. I mean, Heart of the Storm, imagine, like, how many proxy pylons you have to find over the map in all matchups. And for Legacy of the Void, it's basically nothing, so... I don't mind the 1, especially on such a huge map too, where slow warp-ins could be enough, you know? This Warp Prism might die. It does get a lock on by the Cyclone, but the Cyclone dies first. Oh
yeah,
well.
And the
This might
Deepos...
just be game.
The Depot should not have been down. Like, the fact that MaNa just waltzed in with the Adepts was a big mistake out of Beasty. SCVs just want to bring you cakes, but it's not going to matter. GG. MaNa takes game number 1.
I wish that the gas guys or SCVs brought, like, radioactive cakes, you know? Like, they're kind of glowing.
You're kind of glowing, like, maybe melted a little bit, too. You're just like... They don't have
this is my cake present. I would get the factory.
They don't have the atomic stability to, like, maintain their shape, so it's just kind of, like, drooping.
Okay, the next map's gonna be Frozen Temple. It's a very clean-cut victory. Definitely mistakes, though, from Beastyqt to let his wall down, basically. That was everything that went sideways was because of that.
Yeah. I think... I don't know. The gas... I'm still trying to figure out, like, the gas thing, just how great versus not that would have been. Like, my thoughts on this were a little bit like the engineering bay block that they do in the natural mineral line. Not the actual block of the Nexus, but, like, in the mineral line. You're kind of like, well... It did something, but was it worth it?
I think it is always more about, as I was like saying a little bit, it's always more about getting your opponent maybe like the tiniest bit like flustered. Like some people, like, you know, especially like non-pro gamers, although pro gamers not so much, but some people living on ladder, some people, right? They'll actually get like super like angry. Like imagine you're already on tilt and then your warp gate doesn't start on time and your build's sort of messed up. Like you might get tilted after that. But of course I don't think MaNa's that type of player or any pro gamer really has that bad of a mentality. But it is about that slight annoyance.
Well, speaking of slight annoyance,
Ayo.
spawning the top left side of the map, we're gonna see if he loses 3 or 4 probes to what is likely coming. It's gonna be the guy up 1 point so far, Team Liquid's MaNa.
In the bottom right, as the pink Terran, he is Beastyqt.
Now, this Proxy Reaper, for me, still... It's not the Reaper aspect of this. It's more so the follow-up, like that Proxy Banshee, for example. It's usually what caps this off. That first Reaper's usually going to get about 3 or 4 kills just due to the fact that it comes out way before Depths and Mothership Core is ready to go. But for Beastyqt to do this in Game 2 almost like solidifies to me that like win or lose Game 3, MaNa's going to do like the pylon rush with the Mothership Core to him.
Yeah. Well, I think more so than being Game 2, it is also Frozen Temple. It seems to be just the most common map. And one of the older maps as well. So you can like know more, I suppose, for that proxy barracks into, the one base of some variety. Unfortunately, Protoss is scouting this matchup pretty early. If they don't, that's kind of on them. So it's usually known that there's a proxy Reaper, and because it is kind of common, especially on Frozen Temple, it's also known that there's going to be maybe a proxy starport, maybe just a starport at home. It is just about determining what comes out of that starport. Some people go Banshees, some people go Liberators.
So that's a good point. Like, you followed this up with a Marine and a bunker, which I think is really kind of cool. A little bit less than normal.
I don't know about that.
So I like this because this will be able to keep that Nexus potentially from going up. As we can see, it's obviously not going to work. But had MaNa been focused on what was going on in the main and not actually paid attention to this bunker in the natural, this could have been really nasty for him.
I don't know, like a second Reaper doesn't sound too useful. Okay, just immediately salvages that one. Doesn't sound too useful when you know that there's like a potent overcharge, especially. But, if both get out and then they wait and then they come back in, they'll actually obviously do twice the damage and might, instead of get 4 probes, even 8 if like done really well. Here we only see the one getting 2, maybe 3, maybe another grenade at least.
Yeah, well, up here. Sorry.
Nope.
I was going to say, commenting on what's going on back at home, though. He goes for a faster Cyclone and a command
Oh,
set.
this is interesting follow-up. I like this just because it's different.
So, I don't think this is so bad if you're dedicated to it with the one base build, right? And we saw versions of this with different costing Cyclones with Reality back in Ting Season 1, and first Protoss can look really cool. For those who don't know, by the way, Magfield Accelerate makes it so Lockout only takes 3 shots to kill a Stalker. Like, really good upgrade. But I don't know. For me, I was really expecting there to be a little bit more oomph to this build. And oh man, is BC actually just gonna go mech?
No, he's building a barracks back at home.
Okay, never mind then. Yeah.
There's not hype, not hype.
It's actually probably faster than flying the other barracks back home. But anyways, my thing though is like I don't actually feel like this will work to do damage.
I feel like
it'll get a Stalker or 2 for free, an odd roaming probe, but really, again, it's the surprise element of like a cloaked Banshee that seem to be best following this up, and it's not usually Cyclones that'll do the job. I mean, that's why Stalkers are made. I guess he was anticipating specifically that. So this might be Beastyqt like super metagaming it, but just generally speaking, I don't know that Cyclones are gonna be the greatest solution.
I think it might be a couple of things. It might be that he's just it's different, right? Like it's not a Banshee, it's not a Liberator, because it's so common to do that. You think it's gonna already be countered. But I do know that like Cyclones, they're not completely out of this matchup. I'm a little surprised Beastyqt only made the 2 though instead of 3.
Yeah, especially when investing in.
Yeah. But it is also like if you do the port. The star port, especially proxied. An option for the Protoss, other than just defending their main base, is also counterattacking, because you don't have a lot of units back at home. Your barracks is lifted. Your factory produces maybe not the best units fast enough. Like one Cyclone can't stop 6 Stalkers, kind of thing. So if you get 2 and the upgrade, then they might lose a lot of Stalkers. But MaNa never pushed out. Beastyqt is not pushing in with the Cyclones either, and they do feel a little useless. Like, I know that like. This isn't the only person in the world who's doing the Cyclones as a follow-up, but I don't know if I like it.
So to be clear for a lot who don't know, there's 2 really great ways to use Cyclones in the game. One is because your opponent has low amounts of units and Cyclones can 1v1 pretty much everything in the game, you get a kill or 2 for free. Cool. The other is defensive because, well, again, with the 1v1 aspect, you can drive off Warp Prisms and Oracles and oh my. Beastyqt, I think that Magfield Accelerator, as much as I was hoping for that to be a really cool addition, ended up being a bit of an overreaction to just, I think, him assuming MaNa was going to counter and try to win the game. The fact that MaNa went to macro kind of actually ends up really hurting Beastyqt and his choices here. This Mothership Core should be a freebie, though. If MaNa's not paying attention...
immediately... Okay, no, it's dead.
Takes five licks to get to the center of that Tootsie Pop.
Yeah, I would have had to literally recall immediately. Cyclone shoots pretty fast. That's a waste, and that really was not a very good scout. That's not like, oh, he's obviously going mech, because we know he's definitely not, right? So that's
Well,
unfortunate.
there's that, and
But
also the option of mech is just so uncanny and so uncommon. You
I'm
wouldn't
not.
assume that in the first place.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I'm not sure why he had to send the Mothership Core out because there's an observer in the main base, so like the scouting wasn't even the purpose of that. So I don't know.
Yeah, may have been just to scout the third specifically. But
It was
you're
very
right.
questionable, and I guess if it was
He's
just pure bio, Marines are not out there, so it should have been safe.
he's not rebuilding the mothership core. I just want to put that out there.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So if Beastie were to get on the get-go for drops, I guess it could be good. But again, with the observer seeing the entire army, him knowing there's still no combat shields because visual cues, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Oh, the Immortals, of course, would get wrecked if the Cyclones were being paid attention to. Unfortunate for BC, looking away for a moment, the Cyclones themselves got wrecked with only 120 health.
It's gonna get cornered.
How can
Okay.
you corner on a round map?
There's a corner or two.
I don't know. These look like pretty round edges to me.
I would say that that's a corner of the plateau.
Damn it, you would
Those
probably
jet-
be correct. I was going to bring up cylinders, but that doesn't apply.
Anyway, so at the end of the day, the Cyclone opener, the proxy barracks aside, Beastyqt does have an okay army to try and take one really good fight, but that's about it. I'm not even sure he'd have a second fight in him, depending on how this
But
goes.
this could be really good. I mean, we've seen Marine tanks do well, and this is a pretty big number of tanks. Before we get into this, though, this is my 5 a.m. brain hitting me. Did we shout out Healer yet for resubbing?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Well, shout out to Healer, as I see he brings up the fake mech hype in chat. Thank you for the 6-month resub. I'm sorry we missed that. At 5 a.m., don't expect much to go well with my brain.
Oh, no. Oh, I don't know about this mana.
The force fields are not bad, but the Archons are on the back line, not soaking hits, and more importantly, not dealing damage to these very, very weak Marines.
I don't know why he did that. He clumped himself out. He could have just force fielded and ran away and maybe lost the sentries, but instead lost
I think he was really
units
worried
in
about
health.
the tank leapfrog.
Well, catching them when they're on the ramp is not gonna help, so I don't know. Like this is already like a million times better. A little bit of a concave, like get in here, but his army's already weak and he will push it back though. So
Rip Marines.
doesn't matter. Adepts are good. No. But the Adepts warp-ins on top of the Marines was really quite important for that push to be held.
Okay. The thing, though, that BC I'm hoping takes away from that, though, was he was able to focus fire down 2 Archons, the Sentries, and get a lot of actual kills. So that did not actually trade out too badly for him. In fact, I would argue almost a little bit better. That being said, that was all of his Marines and his buffer. So while he gets out of there with the tanks and medevacs, and that's cool, you're going to need the bio. So the Marines and Marauders for round 2, can they make up for the fact that there's not going to be that... Like, the tanks are going to hit some of these Adepts, and because they're light units, they're not going to get devastated by it. And the question really is, can the Marines finish them off? Can they get those killing blows before they get on top of the tanks, before they get to that dead zone?
MaNa, he took an engagement when he was about 15 supply down. Now he's 10. Let's see what the tanks... There's like a lot of firepower on the tanks. There's kind of a couple of TDs went through, too.
There's the transfer I was talking about, though. It's going to be a little bit messy dealing with the Adepts. Tanks getting some okay shots. SCV's being brought to repair.
G's in here getting some damage done. Finally, a scan goes down, but the Immortals are still alive, and the bio's gone.
Again,
Oh,
not a tremendously terrible trade for Beastie, but he's still losing a lot of like the ability to push. Keep these tanks alive, cool. You sit on that ramp for a while. 10 SCVs died. Those were not from back at home. Those were pulled onto the front lines. There's no third base down for him, so really...
This would be a fine transfer. Yeah.
Rip.
It's 2 tanks.
Rip.
More, yeah. It's tap out. G.
All right, game number 2 goes to MaNa, taking a 2-0 lead now here in the series. We're going to take this time, though, to go to our first commercial break of the day, folks, while we get game 3 set up, so don't go anywhere. And we'll be back in 2 minutes exactly. Now, of course, normally we're muted, and This isn't actually even going to be guilt, just an explanation because it's often asked. Rifkin, why don't you play music during the breaks anymore? And it's because those who are hearing me talk right now, I really wish you guys were watching ads. You know, people like to get uppity about our sponsors and all these other things, but we need money, and commercials are certainly one of the ways to make it. So consider disabling ad block, maybe. But we want to make the commercial scene dull but informative. So that's the timer for you, so you know how long is left. But the dull part would be like, hey, maybe ads would be less boring than sitting here for 2 minutes twiddling my thumbs, you know? Alright, we're back, folks, and that timed out pretty well, as we weren't actually the ones holding up the lobby for once, which was nice. Usually we're like, give us 20 seconds, guys, give us 15 seconds, guys, but BC was probably taking a few seconds AFK to do the real-life version of the emote, not like this, because he realized he let Dawson Station into the map pool.
Their map choices were very odd.
Yes.
Gettysburg first.
I actually don't mind New
Station?
Gettysburg first. I think New Gettysburg is really going to start growing on people as time goes on.
I think the older maps have already grown on them.
Well,
Literally,
okay,
like fungus.
Not the direction I was going with that, but never mind. All right, folks, game number 3. This could determine the first victor today. There is a double elimination to this bracket, though, so I want to stress whether Beasty makes a really epic comeback with a 3-2 or whether MaNa knocks him out here 3-0. There is still a second half of the bracket to play. And with 4 players from each side of the bracket qualifying through, you're going to see a lot of your favorites. Top 8 today. But spawning here in the lower right side of Dawson Station, we've got the blue Protoss from Team Liquid. It's MaNa.
In the top left as the pink Terran, he's Beastyqt.
Alright, so Beasty has got quite the game ahead of him. One of the big parts of this is, of course, the really odd middle map. Now, to explain really quick, there's a gold base, like for those who haven't seen it, but they recently added in, as in like 2 days ago in the middle of the qualifiers, these rocks. So there's an alternate path in and around the middle of the map now, which is going to be interesting, other than simply just mining out the minerals. I don't know that this was necessarily a problem that will, or a fix to an unknown problem for the map. But one thing is for certain, that if you take these bases early on, it's really risky because your opponent can pretty easily deny you. You know, Reapers or a tank out here, Stalkers or an Adept out here. You're not going to be mining up these minerals too comfortably. So it's safe to say that as you get later in the game, you expand and you knock down rocks, that gold base a little more viable later rather than it is early.
Yeah. It's complicated though, because the gold base, well, it has all these weaknesses, and you probably shouldn't be taking it as your natural. If you take it as your third, which should theoretically be safer, is still kind of dangerous. But like the other options really aren't that appealing. Like MaNa has his bases off to the left; they're pretty far away. I don't know if they're going to take those. And the one to the right, it's not, you know, they don't have any back attack or whatever going on, but it's still, again, kind of far away. This map is just very odd. No matter what, your units have to go in a very odd path, unless you take it, you know, natural then third at gold base or vice versa. And sometimes it's just it's the risk worth taking.
You remember what I said about that last game?
What?
How
that he's
MaNa
gonna do the pylon.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it's especially because of Deathline.
I think,
but BC already, like, I think predicted this.
It's a bad mix of both. Stalker's actually soaking some hits for that, which is kind of cool, but apparently this is out of range of the bunker, and that tilts me. That really tilts me, because you know what's not out of range of the pylon? The bunker. But actually, the mothership core goes vastly out of position. I'm not sure what he was hoping to accomplish with this, but he's going to lose it. Oh, there's a second pylon that's built over here. What the fuck?
You're just like,
when did he sneak
PvT,
that in?
right?
When the hell did he sneak that in?
I saw it finishing, and I was like, well, there's like a pylon. Oh.
I was just following the mothership, and I was like, oh, was he trying to scout? Wastefully scouts? No, he denies mining with it. Problem is, though, I still think breaking the bunker would have been more worth it, because then he could have possibly, you know, sent Adepts in. The Stalkers could have gotten on top of that tank, for example. Is going to have to go back home. And to be honest, this wasn't the most cost-effective way for MaNa to go about things, but it was certainly interesting.
Yes, that's one word for it. Now, they're both on one base still. MaNa actually getting a robo before getting his Nexus. because he, probably because he scouted what was going on. A one base from Beastyqt on Dawson Station. You can actually do trickier things even than just Widow Mine dropping. You can actually do these front pushes because they hit so soon. So I guess that's what he's expecting, seeing the tank pop out like it did. And having an Immortal will certainly help, and of course production with gateways. So I like MaNa's position. I actually think he reacted really strongly to this, and it's just about positioning your actual units.
Yeah. I mean, the Immortal's gonna do it a lot to stop this from getting out of hand. For the attack, it's underway though. Quick shot to Kalari Shatal for the 16-month resub. Hopefully that was close to the name being right. Ads are for losers. I prefer to sub. Thanks for all the StarCraft 2 moments. Thank you very much for subbing. For 16 months of us not saying your name correctly.
Hey, I've been saying it for like 4 months correctly.
Unfortunately, you do get dragged down by me in this Wii.
Okay, so this is, imagine like the power that was last game with 5 tanks. 2 tanks would kill things very slowly. So MaNa, I would say, doesn't even have to bust right here, right now. But he's so well prepared for it,
Oh,
he just goes ahead and does it anyway, and that's gonna be game.
That's gonna be the series at that. Liberation is gonna set up in the center. The Stalkers could walk around it though.
Tank kind of covers, but the Stalkers can take a hit.
I just feel the damage Beasty took up from this is already too devastating. The fact that it's one base. If there was a second command center behind this, you're like, okay, he traded. But that's the problem. There isn't, so he didn't, and now he's in a bit of trouble. Now, it's not to say that this is all doom and gloom. He's still going to be pushing with that Liberator, maybe leapfrog forward with the tank, but MaNa really, like, he could probably just walk underneath the Liberator with the Immortal, pop that Hardened Shield, and focus the tank down. And once that happens, then Liberator's not a problem.
Yeah. Adept trying to scout, I believe, more than catching reinforcements, although they're not terrible at that either. Unfortunately, the wall off is still there, and the shades didn't quite make it. So no idea still if it's gonna be an expansion. Oh, but a War Prism, that's clever, takes out the tank. And the Marines. There's really just not a lot of units to be seen. GG.
GG. 3-0. Good start to the day for Liquid MaNa. Not so much for Beasty though, which is a bit unfortunate, but as we had said before, it's double elimination, so he's still going to be in it, and he's still going to be having a chance to play. But I do believe that is the first series to conclude, as it was, despite how long it took to get going, fairly quick.
Yeah, it was pretty fast. Womp womp.
Womp womp. So the question then is really, what are we going to be casting next? And if we follow this part of the bracket, MaNa will face against the winner of Daishi or Zanster. Bottom part looks like Marine Lord. So I guess this top, middle, whatever of the. He beat DMC, so he'll go on to fight against Cyril or Shadowne. I think if Cyril beats Shadowne, I think Marine Lord Cyril will be a really good matchup. Bunny, Hero Marine in the bottom. TLO playing against Strange. Ooh, TLO Bunny could be interesting round 2, but Strange is currently leading the series. Quite a few very tasty matchups. Bad news for you Thermal fans, though. Saw a tweet before we got into that game. I just checked it out now. He was and is dealing with some pretty bad lag, I guess, and some other issues today, so he won't be able to do perhaps his best performance. But I'm still going to wish him the best of luck. I'm gonna open this Red Bull, though, because my brain, no working, no good.
I want a Red Bull.
Okay, well, guys, I guess we'll just go to commercial break while we take a quick peek at the brackets and see what we'll be casting next. So, again, thank you so much for tuning in this morning. We'll be back in a few moments with more. Question is just what?